14 months after our first WGN Investigates report on questionable spending by South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard, it appears she has been forced off the ballot.
Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who was appointed to that position tonight, lost her bid for the Democratic Party's nomination in this rarely used.
The drama in Thornton Township and Dalton, Illinois is reaching a boiling point as controversial politician Tiffany Henyard fights fiercely to maintain her grip on power. Known for her larger-than-life personality and her self-proclaimed title of super mayor, Henyard now finds herself at the center of yet another scandal, this time over her exclusion from the Democratic ballot for township supervisor. The fallout has been explosive, with allegations of election rigging, voter suppression, corruption, and lawsuits flying in every direction. But is this the story of a determined political leader fighting for justice, or a desperate bid to cling to power amid mounting opposition and controversy?
7 minutes, that's all it took for Tiffany Henyard to be out as the Democratic nominee for Thornton Township Supervisor, and she left here visibly upset.
The controversy began with a rare event. Thornton Township's Democratic Party held its first caucus in over 3 decades. Instead of a primary election, the township opted for a caucus to determine which candidates would appear on the ballot, a decision made by State Senator and Township Democratic Committeeman Napoleon Harris. Many viewed this move as a calculated effort to prevent Tiffany Henyard from securing a nomination, and by all accounts, it succeeded. Henyard's name was excluded from the Democratic ballot because her slate of candidates was incomplete, lacking a certified assessor. Meanwhile, Harris nominated himself and his slate, effectively securing the Democratic ticket for the upcoming April election.
On how the Democratic caucus works right here in Thornton Township. You can also say that she flunked out because her name is not appearing on the ballot.
Henyard didn't go quietly. She stormed out of the caucus, denouncing the process as illegal and accusing Napoleon Harris of orchestrating a coup. "You didn't run any of this the right way," she allegedly shouted at Harris. "This is election rigging at its finest." Henyard claims the caucus was nothing more than a sham designed to suppress her supporters and block her from the race. Her fiery speeches leave no doubt that she's not backing down. She has vowed to take legal action, promising to sue everyone involved in what she calls an illegal and undemocratic process. The caucus itself was nothing short of chaotic. Held at the Homewood Flossmoor Park District Auditorium, the event was plagued by allegations of voter suppression and questionable rules. Henyard claims that hundreds of her supporters were left standing outside in the freezing cold, unable to enter the building. According to her, buses filled with seniors, many of whom she had personally arranged to bring, arrived late and were turned away. "They had us out in the cold, letting only 2 people in at a time," she said. "We had a line wrapped around the block, and they never let us in." Adding to the controversy, the meeting lasted a mere 7 minutes, during which Harris and his allies swiftly nominated themselves before closing the session.
This is my prime example of people that's puppet masters trying to control the narrative.
Henyard's supporters have also raised serious objections, accusing Harris of manipulating the process to his advantage. Keith Price, a close ally of Henyard, described the caucus as the biggest fraud he had ever witnessed. "Hundreds of people were not allowed to be part of the process," he said. Election attorney Carrie Lycraft Heffer, who reviewed the caucus, echoed these concerns, pointing out several violations of the rules, including the failure to require voters to sign affidavits confirming their eligibility.
It should have been a primary. It always has been in the history of Thornton Township. Always 10,000 residents come and vote for township government.
However, some residents argue that Henyard's accusations of voter suppression may be an attempt to deflect attention from her own shortcomings as a leader. Critics point out that she had ample time to prepare for the caucus and ensure her slate met the necessary requirements, but she failed to do so. "It's not voter suppression if you don't follow the rules," one resident remarked. "She didn't have a completed slate, and that's on her." Others contend that her claims of unfair treatment are undermined by her own history of bending the rules, including allegations of using township resources to bus in voters who ultimately couldn't participate.
Because they can't beat me. If they could beat me, they would have went to the polls. But now when I bring the people out, you don't let them in?
The caucus controversy has reignited debates about Henyard's leadership style, which many describe as polarizing. While she continues to portray herself as a champion of the people, her opponents accuse her of dividing the community with combative rhetoric and questionable decisions. Residents have pointed to her frequent public outbursts, such as calling Harris a coward and accusing him of orchestrating a hostile takeover, as actions that undermine confidence in her ability to lead. Yet, Henyard's supporters remain vocal, arguing that her exclusion from the ballot is part of a broader conspiracy to oust her from power. They claim Harris and his allies intentionally manipulated the caucus rules to block her candidacy, knowing she retained significant support among certain voter groups. This isn't just about the caucus, one supporter said. It's about silencing a leader who's done more for this community than anyone else. Still, the question remains, can Henyard rally enough support to launch a viable write-in campaign, or has the controversy done irreparable damage to her reputation?
Now appears if she wants to run for supervisor again, it will have to be as a write-in candidate.
However, Harris has dismissed these allegations, insisting that the caucus was conducted legally and fairly. The process was followed, and it came out the way it was supposed to, he said. Harris also defended the decision to hold a caucus, describing it as a traditional method used by many townships.
What do you do tonight if you don't get the Democratic Party's nomination?
What do you mean? I will be victorious tonight. You will see. My people are here. They're not going to go nowhere.
Despite Harris's assurances, the fallout from the caucus has been immense. Henyard's legal team is preparing to challenge the results in court, arguing that the rules were unfairly applied and that her exclusion was predetermined. "You didn't run any of this the right way. Illegal Napoleon," Henyard declared. While Henyard fights to get back on the ballot, many in the community are applauding her exclusion. For months, she has faced intense scrutiny over her leadership as mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township. Accusations against her include embezzling taxpayer money, using public funds for lavish personal expenses, and retaliating politically against opponents. One particularly damning report revealed that Henyard spent over $30,000 on Amazon purchases in a single day using the village's credit card. Another investigation found nearly $100,000 in questionable expenses on travel, meals, and other non-essential items. Critics have labeled her the worst mayor in America, with some even calling for her resignation. The controversies extend beyond financial misconduct. Henyard's tenure as Dolton mayor has been marked by chaos and dysfunction, with the village's finances plummeting into a multi-million-dollar deficit under her leadership. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, hired to investigate Dolton's financial state, described it as dire. Lightfoot's preliminary report revealed that Dolton's general fund balance had dropped from over $5 million to a nearly $4 million deficit in just 2 years. The report also flagged excessive overtime pay for police officers, including one officer earning more than double their annual salary in overtime alone.
You didn't run none of this the right way. Illegal. Napoleon.
Henyard's leadership has also ignited tensions within the Dolton Village Board, where she's been accused of bullying and silencing her critics. During a recent board meeting, Henyard declared, "Like it or not, I am your mayor," prompting many in the audience to either walk out or turn their backs on her. Trustee Jason House, who is running against Henyard for mayor, described her leadership as a dictatorship, adding, "The way she talks to us, it feels like we're in an abusive relationship. She's a bully." The scandals surrounding Henyard have not gone unnoticed by federal authorities. The FBI is reportedly investigating her for alleged financial misconduct, including misuse of public funds and potential embezzlement. The agency has already issued subpoenas for records related to Henyard's spending and has interviewed multiple individuals as part of the investigation. Adding to the scrutiny, Henyard's deputy police chief, a close ally, was recently indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges, fueling speculation that she could be the next target of federal prosecutors.
People were getting let in at the proper time. We had a caucus, and the people voted for us slated candidates to represent them.
Henyard's leadership has also created significant tensions within the Dolton Village Board, where she's been accused of bullying and silencing her critics. During a recent board meeting, Henyard declared, "Like it or not, I am your mayor," which led many in the audience to walk out or turn their backs on her. Trustee Jason House, who is challenging Henyard for mayor, described the situation as a dictatorship, adding, "The way she talks to us, it feels like we're in an abusive relationship. She's a bully." The scandals surrounding Henyard have caught the attention of federal authorities. The FBI is reportedly investigating her for alleged financial misconduct, including the misuse of public funds and possible embezzlement. The agency has issued subpoenas for records related to Henyard's spending and interviewed multiple individuals as part of the probe. Further fueling speculation, Henyard's deputy police chief, a close ally, was recently indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges, raising questions about whether Henyard could be the next target of federal prosecutors.